The story of how one man's madness turned an entire world into a living hell is named Adolf Hitler. With a single roar, he stained the earth with the blood of millions. History proves that whenever a human's ego seeks to touch the sky, nature hurls them back to the ground with equal cruelty. And before his arrogance, humanity itself came to a standstill. This is not just the story of a dictator. It is the ultimate documentary of the inevitable destruction of pride. The beginning of Hitler's life was strikingly insignificant. A failed youth selling paintings on the streets of Vienna. Rejected twice by art schools. The sting of that rejection and the humiliation of Germany's defeat in world. War I transformed him into a vengeful monster. His voice was like fire. When he spoke, ordinary Germans followed him like a spellbound trance. When he seized power in 1933, Germany began its descent into a dark tunnel. He proved that if one can play with human emotions, even an ordinary man can achieve terrifying power. Hitler's so-called patriotism was, in reality, an extreme racial hatred. He wanted to make Germany the master of the world. But the foundation of that dream was a mountain of corpses. The Holocaust, the most heinous chapter in history, was the ultimate proof of his brutality. Driven by mere suspicion and an obsession with proving his blood superiority, he systematically murdered 6 million Jews, the screams of people in massive concentration. Camps and gas chambers were nothing more than a melody of victory to him. His power was so absolute that everyone, from the church to the military, remained enslaved beneath his feet. When World War II began in 1939, Hitler's Nazi forces seized Europe with the speed of a storm. Poland, France, Belgium, all were crushed under his boots. His glory was at its zenith, and he began to view himself as a god. But history bears witness that human power has a limit. The bone-chilling Russian winter and the Battle of Stalingrad caused the first cracks in his pride. Under the combined attack of the Allied forces, his tag of invincibility began to turn to dust. He failed to realize that while the world can be conquered, human hatred cannot be overcome. As sky-high as the rise was, the fall was equally dark and gruesome. In 1945, when the Russian Red Army was at the gates of Berlin, the powerful Führer's refuge was a closed bunker 50 feet underground. The man who wanted to rule the entire world spent his final moments in intense fear and isolation. On April 30th, when his defeat was an absolute truth, he committed suicide by pointing a pistol to his head. He gave instructions so that even his corpse would not be found. The final destination of his pride was a fire pit inside a hole. Hitler's life stands before us today as a warning. History has proven time and again that no palace built on oppression and blood lasts forever. The man who forgets the world during the tide of his rise is thrown into the dustbin of history by the ebb of his fall. This documentary narrative of Hitler reminds us of a single truth. The power of injustice is temporary, but its downfall is inevitable and eternal. Time forgives no one, and arrogance is the primary architect of destruction.